Hey everybody, this is Frilioth and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft on the AlphaCraft server. Today we're back over at spawn, just in front of the trading hall behind us there. And as you can see, things are starting to happen here. Stina and Richard have been building the trading hall. Spider's been building the stables there. I've got my little iron farm behind the back of that. Spider's also doing a lot of work around the side of the trading hall, and you need to go and check out her videos to see what she's doing there because it is pretty epic. What I intend to do today is build a big clock, a big working clock. Just here, it's a big clock tower, and it's going to be massive. Can we see that block up there? That block up there is how high this is going to be. This is going to be quite a big build. I've not done anything this big since I built the Iron Alpha. It is pretty enormous. It's going to be primarily made out of spruce and stone to keep in with the theme over there, but we're going to be using a bit of calcite. Now, as you know, calcite can't be made. You have to find it, and it's not easy to find. But fortunately, we've got some fantastic adventurers on the server, and Stina and Spider and Bunny have all come to my aid and managed to get me quite a lot of calcite. I think I needed 15 stacks, and they've easily found enough for me to do the build. So thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate that no end. So I suppose without further ado, I need to grab some gear and start building this bad boy. The bottom of the clock tower. It's like, I don't know what you would call it. The living quarters of the clock tower. Maintenance guy, maybe? I don't know. I'm sure there's a job title for somebody in there. But basically, it's where the person is going to live, i.e. a villager, probably, who is going to look after the mechanism and the workings inside the clock. So I'll do that around the rest of the building, put a few floors in it, and then it's time to start building the main, what do you call it? I'm sure there are technical terms for this, but the middle bit, the shaft, for want of a better word, that goes up the middle, which is going to hold the main clock mechanism at the top. Anyway, I'm going to stop embarrassing myself now, and I'll just crack on and build it. But it's going to adopt the same theme. We're going to have wood beams coming up through the middle, starting 2 or 3 stairs in to the ceiling. So it's going to go back in a little bit. And anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to put the rest of the roof on, and then we'll start building the shaft. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. So we built the house bit at the bottom, built some of the center column. That there is where the redstone starts, and it's quite a complicated piece of redstone in there. It's very, very tight as well, and it's going to take a lot of honey blocks. So Stina, I'm on my way to your hopefully honey shop. If not, I might have to just rummage around in your no, I won't do that. I won't do that. But I'm going to need to buy some honey off somebody because we don't have any honey, and I'll be making a trip to the slime farm as well, Spider, so thank you for that. So the clock face is going to go, there's probably another 5 or 6 blocks on the top of that, and then the clock face is going to go there, around about there, and then on top of that is going to be a big, it's either going to be iron or it's going to be a gold bell on the top in its own little tower on the top there. But so far I'm liking the look of that. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll put another beam across just there to break that whitewash up, the calcite up a little bit. I've just put an extra one in the side there because that calcite in the middle was a little bit too large. Maybe I'll do another beam along the top. I'll worry about that in a second. That's titivating, really. That's, or maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm just worrying about it for the sake of worrying about it. But it's looking mighty fine at the moment, I think. I wish these guys would go a little bit quicker. I need loads more scaffolding. Yeah, loving that. So I'll put a floor in there, which is where the redstone's going to start. I'll build this up another 5 blocks or so, and then start doing the fun stuff. Okay, so now we're getting to the business end of this thing. You can start to see how big it is, hopefully. It's very big. And obviously the face goes into there. I've still got to put this on all 4 sides. I've only done, well, on the other 3 sides. I've only done it on the front to start with. I've put it up and I've taken it down a few times. I went a few blocks too high. And it made it look funny. And I stood here, I must have stood here for 10 minutes looking at it, and I couldn't quite put my finger on why it didn't look right. And then it suddenly dawned on me I'd put an extra layer on, which made that quite a lot taller than it was. It just made it look a little bit funny. So I've had to whip that back down again. I've also played with the design at the top. I tried a bit more of a checkerboard pattern at the top. I didn't like it, so I've put it back to the way it is now. So I'm liking the look of that. So what I'm going to do now is put the clock face on the front of it, and then we'll have one final look at it, because that is pretty much how it's going to look on all 4 sides. So I'll get the clock face in. You won't be able to see it working yet. Obviously I've got to put all the mechanism inside, which is going to take quite a while. And then I've obviously got to purify up the front of it, put some leaves on there, put some lanterns on there, you know, just generally purify it up. But this little town, little village, starting to look very pretty. Okay, so there it is with the clock face on it. I've put a little bit of redstone behind the back just to light it up, to show you what it looks like when it's lit up. It does look slightly different in other people's texture packs, because in other people's texture packs the hands are brown. The glowstone lamps, redstone lamps, are brown. So that's why I put the brown brown wool in the middle. But in my texture pack they're black and white. But it looks lovely in the other people's texture packs. I might at the end put the normal default texture pack on, just so you can see it. but I think it looks very good. So what I'll do now then is I'll put the other 4 sides on. I'll put the roof at the top, and then I'll put the bell tower above that, and then I can start work on, actually I'll probably leave the roof off until I get the redstone in. Oh, bye spider. Until I get the redstone and give me a bit more room up there to work, because it is very tight up there. Once all the redstone's in, at the end of the day, the redstone, and I'll show you it later on, the redstone has to power all 4 faces. So it's not just powering the one face. That would be relatively straightforward. It's got to power all of the faces, because there's no point in having a clock with 4 faces if only one of them is working. So anyway, let's get back to work. I'm going to grab myself a little snack, and then I'll get back onto it. So we've nearly managed to get all the clock faces in now. I just need a few more redstone lamps, but I need to go to the nether to get some more glowstone for that, because I've run out of glowstone, but it shouldn't be too difficult to get that. I'd run out of calcite. All of the calcite that I'd got from Spider and Stina has all gone. I've used it all, but fortunately Bunny has just given me a delivery, and she's delivered it in quite a unique way. You need to go and watch her video to find out how she's done it, but she's done it in a unique way that only Bunny knows how to do it. Anyway, so I've got these in now. I need to put the tops in, the fascias above the clock faces. That's what it's going to look like. That shouldn't take me too long, and then I'm going to leave the top open, but then I'm going to start on the redstone, which is going to be great. Looking forward to that. So anyway, let me just finish off the rest of these, and then it'll look finished pretty much from the outside. We can have a look at it. Now we've got the structure built, it's time to start worrying about the redstone on the inside. And for that, I'm going to need a lot of concrete, because I want to there are lots and lots, and you'll see when I'm building it, there are lots and lots of lines of redstone that have to go about, because and it'll be easier to explain once it's in, but each one of the faces is operated by a hopper, and a line of redstone coming from that comparator leading out of the hopper. So there's lots and lots of redstone in there, and I don't want that to overlap, and I need to know where all the redstone is going. So I'm going to use different coloured pieces of concrete in order to do that. And obviously for different coloured pieces of concrete, I need different coloured pieces of dye and gravel and sand, which I've been and collected already. I've also got a few colours. I don't know whether I've got enough, but we'll give it a go. I went out, believe it or not, I went out over there collecting poppies. Poppies, I tell you. When we've got 2 iron farms that have got a quadrillion in them, but I went out collecting them anyway. Okay. So I've made a very bog standard concrete maker here, where you hold the concrete powder in one hand, you hold the pick in the other, you left and right click at the same time, and hopefully all my concrete's going to appear in there. So let me make some red concrete to start with. Why not? I don't know exactly how much I'm going to need. 8 of those, 1 of these. Eight 8s. Okay, well, I've 64 of those bad boys. Grab myself a pick. Got my pick, got my thing, right, and if I left click there, it turns into concrete, and then I right click at the same time, and we have ourselves a concrete maker. Very basic, but it does the job. There you go, 64 of those. So I'll do that, and then I'll ship everything upstairs, and we'll start putting in the basic 2 timers. We need 2 timers, and I'll explain why when we get up there, but we've got 2 hopper timers, the silent ones. Link in the description, by the way, to the tutorial, and that will lead into the mechanism with the hopper chain, and then the rest of it. Anyway, let me get this done, and then we'll go upstairs. So now this is where all the fun begins. It's time to put in the redstone. We're in the main tower, just below the clock faces. There are the faces up there. and that's where all of the redstone's got to go to light these bad boys up. This is the front. I've put a hole in the tower just so I know which part the front is, just to orient myself properly. So here I'm going to put a silent timer here, and I'm going to put a silent timer here. And the reason for having two timers is when people sleep, the timer takes a few minutes to reset. So if the timer's halfway through running and somebody sleeps, the timer starts to move the items back from one dropper to the other, and it stops the clock from working. So what this system does is it flicks over to the second timer, and it starts using this timer while the first timer resets itself. And once that runs down, it'll start again. It'll run down and start again. If somebody sleeps in the meantime, then that timer will flick over to this timer, and this timer is going to start, and then the clocks will use this timer. And these timers reset themselves every morning using a daylight sensor, which I'm going to put here in the corner somewhere, which is going to need daylight access, but I can worry about that later when I get up there. But that resets the timer every morning, so the clock will always be reset first thing in the morning, regardless if anybody sleeps. If the chunk, we're lucky because this is a spawn chunk around here, but if you built this in an area that wasn't a spawn chunk, when you move away from here, this would unload. It would obviously stop working. When you came back, the clock would be wrong. Okay, but then overnight, or if somebody sleeps, the clock will reset, and then it'll be working, then it'll be accurate again, and then it'll be working. So it does reset, which is fantastic. So I need to, I've got loads of gear. Grab some of these, my favorite building block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to build all of it, obviously, because that would take far too long. However, I will build these timers because they're pretty cool. Those two droppers point into each other, and they're going to fire an item backwards and forwards. Like that. So if I now throw in there some items, I'm going to need 64 and 64 and 55 items, and I don't really want to waste any of those. So let me go and grab some disposable blocks. Okay, so I've grabbed myself a load of sticks. So I want 64, 64, and 55. And now, once that starts working, that'll be just enough time to make the clock go around a full 24,000 ticks in one rotation. So after 4,000 ticks, it goes to there, and after 7, I think it's there, then 11, and so on and so forth. So it's not easy to tell what time it is, but obviously if you're outside looking at this, you can probably see what time it is, because day and night. But it's just, it looks cool. And then we want to stick one item in here, just the one, and that's going to get pinged backwards and forwards. There you go. So the clock started. Once that runs down, once all of those run from this side into that side, this is going to change over. That will turn off, and it will fire the item from one side to the other, and so on and so forth. Now I need to build one over this side. So what I'm going to do, this is probably not something that most of you are going to be interested in watching me do, is just pottering around in here, because it's very tight. It's going to be a lot of trial and error. There's going to be a lot of moving redstone about, making it fit. So I think the next time you see this place, we'll have a load of coloured concrete in here with some redstone all over it. I'll probably show you the mechanism that turns all of these on. That makes all of these work. That's a hopper chain in the middle. I'll talk you through that. But before we get that far, I need to put another one of those over here, and then build up the structure a little bit inside for the redstone. Right, so we've got the bottom part of redstone in. We've got the bottom section in. Let's see if I can jump up and just show you around. So we've got the 2 timers. This is a timer that's currently working. Like that. This timer is currently off. And that's currently been paused by that redstone torch there. That redstone torch is turning off this light, this redstone torch here, which is stopping that particular timer. And that's why that's working. And that's being turned on and off by this timer here, by this sticky piston, sorry, with a redstone block on it, and that's being activated by the daylight sensor. So every morning at a specific time, and that's dictated by the amount of items in this hopper. So when the signal coming out of this comparator here from the daylight sensor, which is obviously not working at the moment because we've got no daylight coming in, but when the signal coming out of the daylight sensor is greater than or equal to the strength of the signal coming out of that hopper, then this comparator will turn on. It'll fire that sticky piston up, creating a monostable circuit which will fire that piston there with a 1-tick pulse, and it'll push that block over to this side. So that'll turn off this hopper and allow it to reset, and then start that timer, and then it'll allow this timer to start working. And both of these timers, via this redstone line here, activate this frill switch. I don't know what it's called. I used it back in the Iron Alpha to operate the doors back on the original Iron Alpha. I don't know what it's called. I've called it the frill switch for no good reason really, but that will allow a 1-tick pulse to go through that particular bit of redstone there, which will turn off that torch, which will turn off that redstone dust on top of the block there. And that block is going to be connected to some redstone that runs in the above the hopper chain. So the redstone will be off just long enough for the item in the hopper chain to move from one hopper to the next one. Any longer, if the tick was any longer, the item would move 2 hoppers, and that wouldn't work. Any shorter, and the item wouldn't move at all, which again wouldn't work. So it needs to be a 1-tick pulse, which is what that little frill switch does there. So anyway, that's that. We've started. We're off and running. So now I need to put in the hopper chain there, and then I need to start putting in the sticky pistons and the honey and the slime blocks. But I still need to find some honey. Still haven't got any honey blocks yet. Oh well, I'm sure I will do. So I just thought I'd bring you back in for a progress update. We've put in 3 of the lines now: the lime, the light blue, the lime green, and the aqua line, and they're obviously connected up to the chain of hoppers down the bottom there, and it all seems to be working fine. I've seen it moving around. When people sleeps, it resets itself, so everything seems to be working as it should. I'm waiting for Wild to get me some honey blocks. She's very kindly gone off to get me some honey blocks from hers and JJ's bee farm, apiary, whatever you want to call it. So thank you for that, Wild. So hopefully it won't take me too much longer to finish this off. It is going to get difficult to see in here, so the next time we see this, I'll probably do it from up the top, just to show you the spaghetti of wiring that's in here. But I probably won't give you another update before then. But this is primarily it. The comparator there takes a feed. Where is this one? That one there. That one. So this takes a feed from the current hopper that's got an item in it, and it powers all of the redstone, which powers all of the faces. And when the redstone, when the item moves over to the next, would be that one there, moves over to the next hopper, it will light up the next one down, next one around, and so on and so forth, keeping all of the. There you go. It's move around. Look at that, champion. But that will have honey on it. Because we can't have 2 slime blocks next to each other, because if we did, they'd stick together, and then this wouldn't work, which is why I really do need the honey blocks. But they're coming, they're on their way. So the next time you have a look at this, it'll all be filled in and it'll all be working. Happy days. Okay, so we've finally got the redstone in at the top, and as you can see, it's an absolute mess, but it's really difficult to do in survival. I could have helped myself actually if I'd given myself a beacon that had jump boost on it. That would have helped me out no end. but I didn't. So scaffolding was my friend. But all this is in now, so I'm very happy. And it seems to be working okay. I've done a couple of tests on it. Clicking buttons and stuff. There's a button over there. Oh, I got the honey from Wild. Thank you very much, Wild. Where's the button? I can't press it, but it's there anyway. There it is. There it is. By pressing that button, it circulates the item in the hoppers for me to test it. I had a bit of a problem with the lime green bud powering the pistons. That was a pain. Couldn't figure that one out straight away, but I've managed to do it now, and it seems to be working. It seems to be working great. So the last job, then, I'm not going to tackle any of the inside. I might try and rope some of the alphas into doing that, because there are some alphas on the server that are much, much better than I am, my buddy, at doing interiors. However, this is what it looks like. So like I said, I'm going to grab some leaves. I'm going to put some leaves in there. I'm going to put some leaves on the roof, leaves down the sides, because I like that sort of thing. Got to put buttons on the rest of these logs on the outside. Again, I like that sort of thing. Yeah, just there, because I've missed a few. And I've also got to spawn-proof the top of these logs. There are a couple of these logs that don't have... Oh, I've got trapdoors to put on there. I've got all kinds of window decorating to do. Oh, crikey. Let me... Anyway, I've told you what I'm going to do. So let me get on and do it. I'll do that. I'll put the decoration in. Then we'll look at it at one last time. And then that should be, as they say, that. So this is what it looks like, and I think it looks pretty good, if I'm being honest. I'm really, really pleased with the way it's turned out. The spaghetti wiring inside is a complete mess. Maybe I'll look at that later, but to be honest, my brain's pretty fried at the moment. I've spent several hours doing this now, and it works, so I'm going to leave it. I've decorated the outside, like I said I would, with some leaves, with a few lanterns. I've spawn-proofed the tops of the beams. Parts of the roof that weren't spawn-proof before, put lanterns on it. I like it. I think it looks fantastic. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments. I've put a bell, or a couple of bells, inside the mechanism, so every time the hands move now, there's an audible bell sound, which I think adds something to it. I like that. So yeah, please let me know what you think about it in the comments. So I think we'll call it a day for today then, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to leave it a like. And if you've really loved it, don't forget to subscribe for future videos. And don't forget to check out all the other alphas. They are all fantastic. This is Frilioth, and I'm out of here.